G'day scrappers, just came back from a couple of pickups, and one of them was a new school, which is always good to get a new school. It wasn't bad pickup, got a few LCD monitors, TVs, as usual, a bunch of printers, but I did get some laptops and stuff. And the second pickup was from a friend that had a whole heap of scrap that he wanted to clear off and get rid of. So I thought I'd just do a couple of videos maybe on scrapping out a few oddball interesting things that I picked up from him and the school. So yeah, so what you see over the top here is all pretty much from my friend. A lot of point of sale systems, and so these PC looking things, they're basically a computer, but they're for point of sale, so they've got a little bit more stuff for the video connection and all that kind of thing. Yeah, I might scrap out one of them just to have a look. A few other oddball things. I did get a lot of switches and routers, so I might scrap a few of them out. And also got this, it's a big solar system. It looks like the main power box, so I might just scrap this out as well. Got this off my friend. It's been sitting out in the rain, so it's not going to be any good for anything else, but yeah, so it looks like the main switchboard, the main power unit. It's got a giant aluminium heatsink on the back here. See if I can get that off. And yeah, the point of sale systems, a couple of the screens, the whole, they're like a whole computer sort of mixed in. But these boxes are quite interesting. Got some really nice big switches and some servers, all kinds of oddball things. So yeah, I thought I'd just do a couple of scrap sessions just for a bit of interest. Whilst I'm waiting for street scrapping, I'm actually waiting on a couple of crucibles to arrive so I can do a few more copper melts. I want to do an aluminium melt next up and make some really nice big chunky aluminium bars. Might use them as giveaways. Yeah, so it's quite heavy on the old back of the van here, so I just need to unload all this and we might get into scrap out a few things. Let's see how we go. Here we go. I've got this Max Solar power inverter, so I'm not expecting a great deal in it. It's probably mostly apart from a couple of little circuit boards, it'll be mostly a big empty box, but we do have some nice aluminium, and this was given to me just to scrap out. So let's have a look what's inside. I've undone some of the screws on top here just to speed it up. Okay, so it looks like it's just the LCD board and the main buttons. Okay, looks like it's all mostly aluminium, so we'll get some value there. I'll just get this board out. So we've had some really strange weather in the last day. Actually today, it's literally every minute it changes. From 1 minute it's sunny, next minute it's windy, then starts to rain a little bit, then back to sunshine. Last night we had the strangest rain. It rained pretty much all night, and it was brown rain. It was all clay that was in the air from a dust storm that came from the north. There you go, just a mid-grade board. So yeah, everything is, the ground is brown. It's really weird. I'll just clean this up and take this plastic out, and well, at least it's aluminium. Okay. Yeah, really weird. It's still got water in there because this has been sitting outdoors for a long time, so it looks like got a main board in there. I knew there was not going to be a whole lot in here, but I thought I've never opened up one of these big solar inverters before, so I thought might as well have a little look. Yeah, well, at least I'm going to get some decent value for aluminium. About $3 there already. Okay, well, that's cool. Quite a it's basically just mostly a power board. It's probably the main logic board here. You've got a USB port. Okay. This new screw bit, it's not only magnetic, but it's still too new, and it's all the screws are sticking to it. Most of them anyway. So I'm just waiting for it to wear out a little bit, so it drops the screws instead of me having to pick them off. How long got jammed? Okay. So it looks like these are smaller ones. Gonna have to do these by hand as well. Yeah, I've had quite a few little pickups in the last few days. Some pretty good, some almost not even worth picking up, but you just don't know until you go. All right, that's done us. Well, there you go. So basically just a power board. Throw that into low grade power boards. Quite a decent heavy one at least. And yeah, well, I can remove the extruded heatsink from underneath, and also it looks like a power supply or something. Conductor module assembly. It's got rubber top. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's in there. It looks like, yeah, I can see some copper in there. So it's some kind of power supply. It's a really unusual one. It's very heavy. So I'm going to just throw this in power supplies and not make a mess and get this rubber out. I'll just cut the wires off and just throw it in as a nice heavy power supply. So there we go. This box is going to take a bit of cleaning up. Some, I'd imagine that'd be metallic. So we'll get a bit of brass here. Some brass risers. Oh well, it all adds up. I actually got to go and do a good run to the scrapyard, and I'm using a different scrapyard now, so I might take the camera along and see if I can get a little bit of video of it. But the prices are, you know, about the best prices you can get, I reckon, here in Australia anyway. Right. There we go. One more brass. Ah, now that's a nice heatsink. That's really heavy. Hey, I'm going to do an aluminium melt soon, but this one won't fit in the crucible, and I'm not going to cut it up. I'll just sell it as is, as a extruded aluminium scrap. Oh, it's got to be worth 10 bucks just in scrap. Might even be worth hanging on to. Nah, I'll just get rid of it as scrap. All right, well, there's not much left of this box. Probably not going to bother with cleaning it up. I'll just get rid of it as scrap steel. And yeah, because I don't do irony aluminium, I don't have room to hold it unless I get quite a lot when I'm doing street scrapping. But yeah, can clean this up, but it's only like $1.50 worth of aluminium, and for the time to take all these things out and all that, I might just get rid of it. But these ones I will try and clean up. Yeah, nice. Is what I'm going to call a power supply. Not really sure what it is, but I did see inside there, I can see some copper coiling, so I'm assuming it's like well, it's obviously part of the inverter, whatever it does. But just in case, you know, you find these in a dumpster or something like that, well, you got an idea. This weighs about 4 PC power supplies, so it's probably about a $1.50 in scrap value there. That's worth about 10 bucks. Not much there. mid-grade board. There's another mid-grade board, just got to take off the LCD. Yeah, and some pretty good heavy gauge wire, but this looks like it's tin plated copper, so I don't melt this, I just throw this in with scrap wire, but there's quite a bit of that. Yeah, not bad. All right, I might go on to something else. So the next thing I've got here is this weird looking, it's like an antenna junction box or something. It's from probably like your Wi-Fi system out in the street somewhere. Not really sure exactly, but these are definitely the antenna ports. So yeah, so it was also given to me from another scrapper, so just to scrap it out if I wanted to do something different. And because it looks like it's mostly aluminium, I'm doing a scrap run with aluminium as well, so I give me a chance to get rid of it at the same time. Okay, yeah, definitely the Wi-Fi. I've done a few different types of Wi-Fi systems, so that's cast aluminium or just aluminium. And there we go. So yeah, I kind of know what to expect here. Aside from this little board and some very strange size Torx, so they're going to be a bit of a problem getting them. See what's on the other side, and I'd imagine it's going to be like your silver plating inside in those chambers. Oh yeah, so it's pretty much identical both sides. Let's see what's under that. Yeah, that's interesting. But to get this open, as you can see, all these little Torx screws, and then nuts, this copper base. Very unusual. I've also got another Wi-Fi box from another scrapper, gave it to me a couple of months ago. It's been sitting there. Been meaning to get to that as well. Okay. I bet this piece here would have been an expensive little piece. It's really nicely machined. And yeah, I'll just throw this straight into brass, even though it's got a little bit of plastic on it. But yeah, I'll throw it into brass. And yeah, this whole thing's like just one piece, so it's just a matter of see if I can open up at least one top. If I can find the right Torx screw, we'll be halfway there. Okay, I couldn't find the right bit for the drill, but I have got a regular Torx, so I can do these. At least I want one side just so I can see what's underneath this plate. I'm pretty sure I've got the Torx screw for these ones, just not for this board. So by hand, but you know, sometimes I don't mind doing things by hand. It's just a little bit of a different action. Oh, get a little bit of gold pin. Silver plate, can tell it's silver because it's got tarnish on it. So the whole board would pretty much be silver underneath this mask. And yeah, not a great deal on this. A few tantalum capacitors I might take off, the rest is more of a mid-grade board. Wow, now this looks like it's going to be a job and a half, and I sort of know what's underneath it. It's just going to be the chambers, silver plating in there, but for the amount of screws, because I don't think the torque screws are going to be enough to get this open, I'm going to have to do each and every one of these as well. Phew. Golly. And I don't think that's even going to make a start. I don't know how many screws that was. It must have been 50 at least. Let's see if it at least made a dent in it. Yeah, looks like all these nuts are going to come off too. Wow, that's just absolutely insane. And as per usual, there's always one that doesn't want to come out. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure. Whew. I don't think these are holding it down. Oh yeah, they might be. These threads. No, I don't think they are. I think they're part of the that chamber inside. I think it's going to come. Yeah, I was right. The nuts are just part of the adjustment. Okay, going to need a little bit of brute force here. There's just one screw I'm going to have to get out. So they seem to be pretty tough screws. But we'll try. Got it. Yay. Okay. The reveal. Ta-da. And how's that? This looks, yeah, so these are the adjustments for these things or something, but this looks like, yeah, it's just a copper plated aluminium. How's that? And these things, they weigh all right. So these are this is the chamber that I was talking about, where the you know, Wi-Fi waves or whatever go through, and it, someone explained it once when I'd done a bigger version of this. Just trying to see what sort of material this is. Yeah, steel. I thought it was usually, if it's brass or aluminium, side cutters cut in easy, but they were, yeah, this is just a copper plated steel, like a copper anodize. And inside there we have, this is like silver plating over aluminium. Yep. Yeah, these ones are steel as well. Very interesting, very bizarre. Yeah, that's really strange. I suppose I could clean it up. I'd have to take out all these screws and get the right, because I need a long one. But yeah, I've done these antenna things before, and so yeah, pretty much as I expected. It wasn't so bad getting rid of this, but not a whole great deal in there. It's saved the trouble of scrapping out. You might as well just throw this into irony aluminium and I'll just put these two pieces into aluminium, and I'll take off the rest of these to get the put these in brass. There you go. Really strange, but pretty interesting, hey. So this next thing I got is it's a Samsung switch. They call it the Office Serve 7100. So it's kind of like a switch, and I love scrapping these kind of things. I've got quite a lot recently because they're so simple. These are just the modules. There's 3 modules here. It's got a little media card, but so real straightforward, and I'll show you without taking out the modules basically what they look like inside. So there you go. It's you know, it's chock-a-block. It's, you know, the whole floor space is boards, and there's even daughter cards on top of the boards, so just more weight to the boards. And I can see what's gone wrong here. This is completely blown out, so it might have even caught on. Yeah, it looks like it caught on fire a little bit, so that would have been pretty hairy. And then a really nice big power board just to add to the value. So yeah, I just love it. There's also a backplane board because these cards are going to come out, these modules. So really quick as to scrap. And so, you know, not a great deal to these modules as far as gold recovery is concerned, because the boards are just, you know, blank back, virtually no chips. Just, you know, your main BGA here and a couple of little ICs. There is a gold band crystal oscillator. It's the only thing I really want, but as you can see, it's really burnt out. But still, really cool. And well, this one's a lot better populated anyway. It does have another gold band crystal oscillator and a tantalum that I'll pinch, but you know, has got a few chips. But I'll just leave this whole thing like this and sell it as a mid-grade board. Or, you know, technically some might go for server grade, or, you know, and some would think, well, because it's a sort of like a telecommunications board, this would be a telecom board. It's nowhere near a telecom board. And even if you were trying to get server, yeah, it probably barely wouldn't even go a server. I'd leave this part on it and just call it a mid-grade board and be happy with it. And here's the main one that burnt out. And as you can see, it's, yeah, it was definitely on fire at one stage. Again, a good board. There's not much under this board. It's just like the first one, so that's what it looks like underneath, but it's got the daughter cards over the top, which give it a really good weight. So, and that's almost it, apart from your power board. So when I'm picking up e-waste from offices and stuff, and I see a few of these as I'm picking up, I think great, you know, because they're so easy to scrap. You know, it's a bit of fun just seeing the different types, varieties that you get. And yeah, it just doesn't take any time at all to scrap out. So I'd be happy with a whole van full of this sort of stuff. I can just work out how to get it out. It's on the riser. There we go. Even got a nice piece of aluminium if you want to take the time and unscrew this aluminium part off the board. and we get a little bit extra value that way. And but yeah, generally a power board, take off your wire, and there's no real good bits of copper to remove, just leave the whole thing on. And just that riser card, it doesn't look anything special, this one. Sometimes they can have really good gold pins. Yeah, we do have gold pins there, and these are, you know, usually in things like this with the gold pins on the risers, they're, you know, they're very good gold recovery on these pins, you know. And the other side, nothing. So I'll just use the air gun and knock all these little pin blocks out. All adds up, you know, over a few years, you know. Yeah, certainly adds up. All right, so that was it, you know, as quick as you can get, and just yeah, a beautiful thing to scrap, you know, nice heavy power board, and 3 good mid-grade boards for a resale. Can pick off a couple of little things, and then the riser card, or the backplane board here, just for my own personal gold recovery pins. Awesome, really quick. I love these, can't get enough of them. Right, so the other thing I wanted to scrap out was these really rough looking, they're kind of like, they're PCs, but they're actually point of sale systems. And this one's about the best one that I've got. I think I got 9 of them. That was given to me by another scrapper. And yeah, they're the TEC point of sale system, made by Toshiba. So they're, yeah, basically PCs, but they've got a lot more ports because they've got the point of sale, you know, like in the supermarkets and stuff like that. You've got the screen as well. I've got those screens as well, but just want to scrap out this PC to see what kind of CPU was in them. These are really old ones, probably, you know, more closer to original point of sale systems. Nowadays they're on a server and they just connect to one PC, whereas these all each counter had a PC under the counter with the screen on top. So yeah, as I said, this is about the best one out of the lot. Some of them look like they've been pulled out of a river. They're real poor condition, but I just want to check out this CPU and just see what stage these are. So they're 128 megabyte RAMs, so that gives you an indication how old. 128 meg, virtually nothing, but still. So I've got a RAM stick. And they certainly packed it up, you know, with a lot of stuff. So the slot card goes into a backplane board, pretty old school. So here we have it. So really nice old school, although the gold fingers aren't that special. It does have an EEPROM here. Yeah, I can't really see gold in there. But yeah. And the backplane board, well, these fingers are a little bit better on these backplane boards. But the thing is that, as you can see, there's nothing on this backplane board as far as chips. Okay, it's just a blank board with, you know, some risers in there that aren't really good for gold recovery either. You know, they're okay, but yeah, it's just the tips of the pins that have got a little bit of gold on them. So if you take off these fingers off this turns out to be a low-grade board, basically, to here in Australia anyway. And as it is, it's still only a mid-grade board. It's not, doesn't class as a slot card. A lot of people put these in slot cards, and I'm starting to take them out because, yeah, they're only mid-grade boards if they've got the fingers. So what I suggest to those that are, you know, keeping gold recovery stuff is to take the fingers off and then just throw this into low grade. Might be better off for you. All right, and again, this is another good example of what some people think are mid-grade boards. Here you can see, again, there's no IC chips or anything on there. Okay, you just got a couple of these USB ports, nothing on the back. So there's no reason why this is a mid-grade board. Or in America, you know, the same class would be peripheral board. It's not a peripheral board. This is just low grade because it doesn't have anything. It's just base metal recovery. So once again, I've got to pull them out of out of batches when people bring me boards to buy. I just want to get this power supply unit out. And we can, yeah, I was just, the good thing about these is, as you can see, they're really chock-a-block full of stuff. So they do pack a lot of punch, these point of sale systems. The only thing is whether they've got a decent, you know, I'm just interested to see what kind of CPU is in these. Like I said, I've got 9 of them, and so just out of interest's sake, before I start scrapping them all out, so it's a pretty decent heavy power supply unit. Bit of value there too. That's what we like. I mean, that's what it's all about. Obviously, the heavier the stuff is, you know, the more good scrap we're going to get. And that's what it's all about. It's all weight in the end. So I'm just going around saving the CPU for last. Okay, so the floppy, I don't really worry about floppies, right? Depends how I feel. But usually, if they're easy enough, I always get the pins from the floppies. Clean it up. So that's what I want. And this one's actually a good one because normally they're not gold plated on the back. It's usually just the pins. So always keep them. And we want the hard drive. I reckon it's probably 40 gig. Looks like it's an 80 gig hard drive. Yep, 80 gigabytes. So I was close. So yeah, just goes to show they're pretty old system. All right. Well, it's been okay. Okay, we're almost there. got some of this stuff to clean out. So there are all the ports, so whole heap of little extra ports. Okay, well, I might get the motherboard out and then we can have a look at the CPU. So I'm actually glad that it's turned out a pretty simple scrap. Some of these smaller PCs, the smaller form factors, can be really fiddly to scrap out, so I'm glad that at least these point of sale systems are a lot easier. Okay. Just a couple wires. And one riser. Always with these risers, if I can get it out, I always check to see if the risers are brass. So yep, brass. If it doesn't stick to a magnet, they're always brass, they're never stainless. All right. Another one. Nice big one, this one. Okay, so I've got everything out. So I can get rid of this. All right, well, that's 1 out of 9 done. Okay, do a little tally. 80 gig hard drive, really nice heavy power supply unit. Obviously this sells as scrap, so obviously the heavier they are, the better. Riser card that will take some fingers off and throw that in low grade, just low grade. Slot card that's quite good, just take the EEPROM off and throw that into slot cards. Bunch of wire we've got to clean up, and our actually very nice motherboard. This motherboard, it's pretty much loaded with ICs and stuff. Oh, it's even got a gold band crystal oscillator, so that's an extra bonus. So this particular motherboard would be pretty good for gold recovery. You know, for some people that like to depopulate motherboards, this is the kind of motherboard you want to depopulate. Some of the late model ones, they're just not worth it. Sure, you might have two nice BGAs, but a lot of them have just got the silicon BGA, which are no good for gold recovery at all. But yeah, this one's pretty good. So let's have a look at the CPU. I like these black heat sinks in this shape because remind me of the Pentium Pro heatsink. Not that this is a Pentium Pro. Let's, come on, give me something good, because I've got 9 of them, so oh, that's okay. Green fiber with nice heatsink. So it's a green fiber, but it's got the copper heatsink on it. So it's a lower grade because most of the weight is in the copper. But if we take off these and sell these as tinned copper, these heat sinks, we've got a green fiber. So still good, because it's all about those gold pins on these CPUs, and you know, you build up enough of them, and these gold pins are very good for gold recovery. I'm guessing probably something like 2 to 3 grams of gold. Yeah, probably at least 3 grams of gold per kilo, but could be even more, 4 to 5, but I'm saying probably about 3 grams per kilo. But I could be, I might be really wrong with these. It could be quite a bit more, because a kilo would be quite a lot of pins. So, you know, whereas good gold fingers, we're getting 5 to 6 grams per kilo. So these should be pretty much close to that, because they're really good gold pins on these. Still, it's only gold plated, so whatever you do, don't remove the pins and then melt it all into one big blob, because then you just got gold drop. We don't want that. So there we go. But yeah, not bad. I'm happy. So I can do the other 8 later on when I've got some time, and at least I know I've got some good CPUs here, good slot card, some gold fingers, you know, awesome motherboard. Even though I sell my motherboards complete, the only thing I'll pinch is that little gold band crystal oscillator, right? I want that, and it's not noticeable. Other than that, just a motherboard. So there we go. That was fun. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm glad I scrapped one out to have a look, because I wasn't looking forward to scrapping them all out, because some of them are so dirty that they're going to be real messy. But now that I know there's some good stuff there, awesome. All right, well, so I've got the point of sale screens as well that come with it. Not sure if this one is included, but as you can see, a lot of them I've got broken glass. So, but these have got little PCs in them as well. So I'm not sure if these ones came with that. This might be a newer one where it's an all-in-one. So I'll worry about that a little bit later. But I think for now, this video's probably gone on long enough, this scrap session. I just wanted to get a scrap session video out. And tomorrow I'm going to be doing a scrap metal run. So I might start making a video on scrap metal, taking it to the scrapyard and all that kind of thing. Mostly wire and aluminium. And yeah, and we'll keep scrapping, maybe do a couple of more scrap sessions soon. So yeah, hope that was fun for you. Keep scrapping, and I'll catch you next time.